You're busy, you've got a decent practice, but nobody wants to be decent. You want to be great, and you want to have a great practice. So how did the most productive, profitable dentist in the nation balance real life, work, and profits, and somehow make it all seem fun? Well, it comes down to simple, everyday practices. So grab a lunch, join us as we chat with top clinicians and influencers to discover their formula for uncommon success. Are you ready? Then it's time to explore everyday practices with Vicki McManus-Peterson and Dr. Chad Johnson.
Welcome to Everyday Practices, everybody. We're going to jump right in with Dr. Sam Moss, who's a good longtime friend with Vicki, and here we go.
You've been listening to one of my dearest friends, Dr. Sam Moss, the legend, the myth, the one and only, the trailblazer. Everybody who comes through PDA hears the legend of Sam Moss.
Yep.
Because indeed, you were the very first PDA client, and you brought the biggest challenge. I have to set the framework for this. This was 2005, I believe.
It was.
We're talking pre-smartphone. We're talking nobody texted back then. Skype had just been invented. So we did have, I think I had to get a webcam for my computer. I'm not sure I even had a laptop, right? So technology was kind of clunky, and Sam just came and he shared this dream. So share with us that dream one more time, kind of encapsulated, because in today's terms, it seems like, I was saying, a lot of young doctors are like, I'm tired of dentistry. I'd like to just manage, take off, travel, and get other people to work for me. And you've done it. You lived through that. So tell us the dream.
Well, it started with my father had passed away early at the age of 56, and he was just being able to plan the things that he wanted. He had a brain tumor with my mom, and so my goal was at 56, I was going to take whatever family I have with me, and we were going to go have an adventure. And the adventure was to go and move somewhere for a couple of years, and just live and survive and meet people. And so I shared that with Vicki in 2005, and I said, 2008, I'm taking off one way or the other. And Vicki asked me, she said, well, so Sam, you're dressed, so what are you going to do? And I said, well, shoot, I guess I'm going to shut it all down and come back in a couple of years and start over again. She said, well, what would be ideal? And I said, well, ideal, would be to have somebody come in, do the things that I can do, and with my staff that can be able to just guide her into place, and then come back and have more money in the bank than when I leave. She said, all right, well, let's make that happen. I looked at her, I'm like, well, okay. All right, I like that.
I didn't know it was that easy.
Make it happen. I mean, it's like she just looked at me like I take dreams all the time, and I can just, we'll make that happen. And we started out, and my productivity had flatlined. I had so many different consultants over the years, and coming into my office, and trying to help me. And, I got all these degrees and stuff. I was accredited in the ACD and a master in the Academy of General Dentistry and a fellow in the International Laser Society. And it wasn't getting people to say yes. I mean, it just wasn't happening. And I was just, I said, what am I doing wrong? And I had this whole elaborate
your PowerPoint.
Treatment plans.
the 3-day PowerPoints.
The 3-day PowerPoint, man. I
forgot
had all
that.
these pictures and stuff, and they were just kind of glazing over after a while, and they, okay, well, we'll get back with you. And I was getting maybe 10% of those people to say yes. It was just terrible. And so one of the main things Vicki did was she and Bruce worked with me and about presentations and just doing it right there at the chair. And I'm saying, wait, I need to think about this. And Bruce would say, Sam, you know what to do. Just tell them what they need. Okay. And my acceptance rate went high. I mean, I was up in the 60% range. People just signing up that day. It even got better than that. My productivity went up right before I left. It was around $800 an hour. from $500 an hour, or $300 an hour.
Wow.
And,
I was going to ask you, I didn't remember where you started. I knew it was just right at that average level. So you went from $300 an hour to $800 an hour within like a year and a half, it seems.
Well, about a couple of years. But anyway, when I came back, I had to come back. One of my daughters got engaged. A boy followed her over at Christmas time, proposed to her. So well, shit, now I need to go home and make some money and get ready for a wedding and all that stuff. So we left after 1 year. We spent a year over there, and I came back and I took like 200 hours of CE, 150, 200 hours in like 2.5 months before I went back into my practice, because I wanted to be on. I wanted to have my shit together, and I wanted to make sure that nothing had passed me by.
Sam, you were like a clinical ninja. I don't know if you know this, Chad, but Sam is a clinical instructor for Millennium Dental Lasers. He teaches a NAP. So when he says we needed to find an associate and get them up to speed, we had like 4 months to teach somebody. Sam, I'm going to get this wrong, but we had to teach them how to do sleep dentistry, full mouth rehabilitation, smile design, LANAP.
Right. Easy.
And root canals and occlusion. So it's like, okay, we got to find somebody with some pretty darn good base skills to build from.
Well, Dr. Sam, I'm glad you mentioned that IALD, because I was Googling it and I was like, International Association of Lighting Designers. I don't think that's it, but I knew I knew the ALD. I just didn't know that there was a kind of an international arm to it. So that's really cool, because I participate with the ALD too. But when you said, a couple hundred hours, I was kind of anticipating you to finish off by saying, within the next year. And you said within the next month or two. I was like, whoa, what?
Oh yeah. When I started that when I got back in May, and I went back to work on August 1st, and I did that all between May and August 1st. I went out and just re-got myself, ready with the laser thing, just making sure I'm all on that, with all my occlusion stuff, my root canal stuff, my surgical stuff. And, yeah. So when I hit the ground running on August 1st, it was, I got my productivity up to $1,300 an hour within a year and a half. And I'm telling you, I was able to save. I'm a big saver in life, and plan. But you never know how. We can make all the plans in the world, but you never know how life is going to work out. And with the cancer thing that came on, and then I sell the practice, and now I work part-time, so I don't have any headaches about anything. And I make great money when I go in. And she says, well, you're going to be in town next month? Well, next month, yeah. So I'll work 1 day a week there. And so anyway, I get to teach, and my stress level is like zero. It's wonderful. Life is good.
So Sam, I know that you are such a great mentor. If you were looking back to your younger self, or you had like some practical advice for young doctors out there that are still, in that average productivity level, trying to figure out, how do I grow? How do I make this thing profitable? What are some things you would share?
Number one is, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to go learn something, and learn it well from a master. Because when you do, your confidence level goes up on the procedures that you do. And when you have good confidence level, patients can feel that. So number one, don't be afraid to spend the money to learn. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars throughout my career, and I am so glad I did. Whenever I go out to these laser meetings, and we're training doctors, and most of them now are periodontists and stuff, but sometimes you get a young general dentist that invested, over $100,000 into this laser to be able to treat people. And, I look at him, I say, you're so far ahead of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So many people are so afraid to spend any money on coaching or on continuing ed, on equipment, worried about return on investment. And so I would say, number one, be fearless. I mean, go learn and become really good at what you do. That goes a long way. And, number two, Vicki, I had been through so many. I mean, I really wanted a successful practice. And I would go hear all these people, and they'd be in from these small towns. And, my thing was, well, with my kind of practice, I just can't do that. My patients won't buy this, and I hear that so often. And you and Bruce broke my mindset on that. Just broke it. The whole thing from scheduling, for productivity, and not for time, just those key aspects. It empowered my staff, and I still believe that even with Danielle's staff, that those people would take a bullet for me. I mean, because I love them so much, and I praise them in front of patients all the time. It took a while. It takes a while to get, the one that's dragging you down, thinking that you can't do without that one person, and she's dragging down everybody else in the office, cutting that cord. It's tough. But if you're gonna be great at what you do, you got to have great people around you, and you got to have them believing in you the whole way. And you helped me to be able to see some of that. And I just hated confrontation, blah blah blah. And
I think I taught you this, Chad. I don't know if I've taught you that, but especially gentlemen doctors, they really don't like to have one-on-one conversations with the ladies in the office. Because women know how to play you. They've been doing that since they were 2 years old. And so, that's my technique. I give all my gentlemen doctors a box of tissues, and then I just remember your favorite sports event, like the ninth inning and the stretch and the big play. And so when you call in and you go, okay, I think, we got a situation we need to talk about, and I need your take on this. Tell me what's going on. And as they start boo-hooing and crying, you just pass the tissues and say, take your time.
Yeah.
I know you need to get it all out. And then you just run the baseball thing in your head, because sometimes people just need to emotionally flood. They need to get it out. And then once it's out, then you can have the real conversation. And I did watch you, Sam. You went from like this real pleasing personality. You're such a nice man. You're such a great guy. And your team was taking a little bit of advantage of you. And that, like you said, it wasn't everybody. It was just that one or two. And then boom, you lock in that team. Yours, I would say, out of all the teams I have ever coached, and I've coached hundreds of offices, I've got amazing teams that I have worked with, but yours really took the concepts of self-governance and being a self-directed team, building their own internal leadership skills, building their own internal sense of accountability to a level like no other team ever has. And I will confirm that they absolutely would have taken a bullet for you.
I believe that with all my heart. And, I got to the point where, in my later years, if somebody just, we had that conversation over and over and it just was not doing anything, it was just going back to the same old stuff, the conversation would be, well, you don't seem to be happy here.
Right.
And let them no voice about why they're not happy. And so once they voice they're not happy, you encourage them to find something in life that they will be happy doing. And so, you end up walking out the door, but that's what you wanted in the first place. But it's not like you were a bad guy. You're
just helping them be happy.
You're helping them be happy.
Wow.
So a productive staff, and not being afraid to invest in knowledge and technology and your future. And you know, I found that the biggest hindrance to any of us is that 6 inches between your, you know, both sides of your head. You know, if you can dream it, you know, and you really work at it, you know, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see fruition. And I was frustrated because I was doing it in a way that was not gonna allow me to be productive. And you just took that cart and put a steering wheel on it and said, look, this is the way we're gonna go, and you're gonna be happy about it because it's gonna work, because it works. And,
well, you'll love this, Sam. Chad almost follows your model. I don't even know when Chad works. I think, you know, the question you get now as an associate back in your own practice, hey, are you going to be in town? Do you want to work? Chad gets that, and he's the owner. Like, Chad, what's your schedule this summer? Here's what I love about productivity. Here's what I love about productive dentists. You always have 3 characteristics. Number 1, you're very relationship driven. I've never met a productive dentist that can sustain it that's not relationship driven. Yeah. And then number 2, once you get the practice where you want it, you love freedom. Like, that much freedom. So what's your schedule this summer, Chad?
So Dr. Sam, this summer I did 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off for, June, July, August, and now in September, I'm on my second week of week off. And, you know, we got back our August stats, Vicki, from Dental Intel. Yeah. And I was over 1,800 an hour for production.
Oh, wow.
August.
Wow.
So what's really cool is, the fact that I nailed that in 2 weeks, when if I would have worked 4 weeks at 900 an hour, it would have all been
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's awesome, Chad. You see, you took something that said, you know, like when I left, all of my friends told me I had lost my mind because this is the most productive time of your life, you know, and you're going to just throw it all away. You know, you're not going to be able to do this and that. And I'm telling you, when I got back into the practice, patients were like, hey, aren't you supposed to go somewhere? You know, I mean, we just had such a presence going that nobody even realized that I had been gone. And everything stayed productive. In your case, who would ever think that a dentist could work 2 on and 2 off, like you're working offshore or something? You know, I mean, like you come in and you just bust it for 2 weeks, and then you're, you know.
You know, this week I don't really have anything going on. Even like, it's not like since the kids are back in school, I just thought, well, you know what, September is kind of lame, and so why not just take advantage of just enjoying some downtime, if that's what it's going to be. You know, I'll just yeah. And so, you know what, funny enough, Vicki, last week with one of my weeks off, one morning I worked on my 2020 calendar and put together, you know, when I'm going to take off and stuff like that. And so we've been, you know, like, I don't know, just even this morning I was, I did the over the shoulder stuff with Dr. Bruce. And so I was tomorrow going to implement some of the consent forms and informed consent stuff from Granbury Dental Center that I had gotten. And so I was just interested in implementing that stuff. So I'm kind of just catching up on some administrative stuff, as you know, podcasting. But Dr. Sam, this is really cool. So like this summer, I'd heard, you know, legend of your story. And so this was kind of my test summer. We didn't do anything like, you know, around the world in 90 days kind of stuff. But we did, as a family, we went to Hilton Head 1 week in June, and then in July we did a lake house in Michigan, and then in August we did family church camp in Montana a few weeks ago, and then even just this last weekend I had Vicki, as you know, that business meeting with Vin, and so I took my son out to Boston, and we went to a Red Sox.
Oh, that's why you were at the Red Sox game.
Yes. So
wow.
Yeah. Yep.
And you'll love this, Sam. Chad and I are going to be with Barnabas Task down in the Dominican Republic in October doing a week of dental missions.
Yep.
So
wow.
Yeah. So it's not all just, like personal time off. Some of it's investing in others,
And for
I do the same thing down in Guatemala. Twice a year. I'm going to be doing it 3 times a year now that I'm really, cut back so much. But being able to do things like that, before 2005, I'd never taken off more than 1 week at a time. And when I took off the 2 weeks, I thought, my practice was going to close. It was going to be terrible and blah, blah, blah. And I came back and, the world was still turning and patients were, on the books. And, I was able, then I realized, well, shoot. And so as I got more productive, like you have done, I was taking off 2 weeks, 3 times a year,
Yes. It kind of, what's cool is it checks your ego because you think, well, surely the world is going to suffer when I'm gone. My little sphere of dental land is going to suffer. And then you get back and you find out that the world's doing fine. And you know what? It's humbling, but it's also good because then you realize, it is bigger than just me. And that's the idea to succession and delegation, right? Is that, it doesn't have to all revolve around you.
Exactly. Chad, where do you practice?
I'm in Iowa.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, God bless you, man. I mean, that's a great success story.
Yeah.
It's gracious. But the thing is, I mean, if it comes into your head, then that means that there's a possibility that it can happen. And if there's a possibility it can happen, then you just figure out the way that it's gonna. Just like you did with the 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off.
Yep.
And I mean, what's more important than having time multiple times in the summer with your family?
Right. Make the most of it.
Instead of them just seeing, grumpy dad going to work all the frickin' time,
Yeah.
Just being a slave to it.
Yep.
And let it work for you. And yeah, that is awesome.
I love it.
That's my story with Vicki. I owe her so much. I love her so much. When we were over there, I also in January, I bought all the staff that wanted to come. I flew them all over to Italy.
That's right.
Oh wow!
For a week, and because I wanted them to show them, that I was loving what I was being able to do, and I was so thankful that they were working so hard because we do a Skype cast every Monday. It'd be 2:00 in the afternoon in Italy, and it would be 7:00 in Lafayette, and 5:00 in the morning out there on the West Coast. And we get on Skype, what's working, what's not working, because I figured, if it all came apart like a cheap suit, then we were just going to have to get on a plane and come home and go back to it. And, what's working, what's not working, and how y'all doing. And, it just,
I think,
I don't think I could recreate the magic of what had happened that year. It was just magical.
It was, and I got to tell you, it's such a testament to you and your belief in people. And we'll start wrapping this up here. We're a 15-minute podcast with Sam. I love you so much. I want everybody to get like an hour and a half of you. If I could bottle Sam, it'd be perfect.
Well, whenever y'all have a meeting or something, and you want me to shoot over there and and just kind of.
Yeah, like next week.
I know.
It's next week. Come on over anytime, always. And I need your duck hunting schedule so I can plan a reunion when you're not duck hunting.
Yeah, that's what happened the last time.
That's right. But I just want to share with you what a privilege and an honor it was to walk through that time with you as a coach. It was really fulfilling. And, my takeaways in working with you is that you gave us a lot of cues here to the doctors, like be fearless, go for it, get your clinical confidence up, know that you can deliver on the procedures, be willing to have your mind broken. I just love that. Your broken mindset. And then go and empower and praise your team, because once they're unified, they will, stand solid with you. And without that, it's really hard to be productive. It really is a team sport. So thank you for all the great wisdom that you've shared here today.
Thank you for having me, and I love you guys, and anything I can do to help anybody in the future, I mean, y'all just let me know. Chad, you're now my new hero, so God bless you.
Whatever. There's bigger giants than me. I'm just trying to kill it here in Iowa.
Well, apparently you're doing it, and your family's better off for it.
That's right. They're the biggest winners, second to me. I'm just grateful to be with them as much as I am, and because everyone has the best intentions. So, hey, I have a good question for you. What kind of, in the last couple months, has there been any good book that you've been reading?
Oh man, I've had a few. Philip Bachman, Frederick Bachman, gentleman, and then he wrote a few books that he has a different writing style. Very good messages. Them Against Us. The first one was that was a 2-part book, and then Gentleman in Moscow by I think it's Towles, Tolles. Towles. Excellent book, man. You'll hate to go to sleep at night, because you got to get some rest, but you'll love that.
Cool.
All right, so Michelle in the background.
Yeah. She's my coach now. Tells me all the things I forget. So
There's a partnership.
But behind every great man. So hey, and I have a somewhat silly question, but the listeners are dying to know, because it's just what we do around here. You get to choose one or the other, and I have a guess. Vicki, do you have a guess?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, I have a guess, and even though you two know each other way better, but I just have a guess. So choose one or the other, bacon or eggs? Well, listen, if it's that hard of a choice, then you just have to choose eggs.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hardly ever eat bacon, but like when I go out to teach in California, they have a breakfast and I just fill my plate up with bacon, a little bit of fruit to make me feel better about it, but yeah.
There you have it, bacon.
Well,
there you go.
Wait. In true Louisiana fashion, though, we should say bacon, eggs, or crawfish.
Well, the crawfish are going to be on the plate as soon as the season gets here.
I will never, ever, ever suck the head off a crawfish, though.
Oh, is that a thing?
It's a thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's even the Radiators made a song, suck the heads and squeeze the tips. You squeeze the tip of the crawfish to get the tail out.
Well, I'm gonna have to maybe YouTube this, but
just go down and visit Sam and the boys at the LSU Study Club, and they'll teach you.
Oh no! I'll watch. I'm not gonna be taught. Well, I'll tell you what, Dr. Sam, I appreciate you coming on, and for all the listeners today, joining us on Everyday Practices for our September episode. So we'll see you all next week.
Bring your lunch or take us to the gym again next week to improve your everyday practices. Also, subscribe on iTunes, follow us on social media, and sign up for our email list. Now get out there and win with Everyday Practices.